Hey guys, I'm Rachel Cruz.
And I'm George Camel.
And this is Smart Money Happy Hour.
Very good ding on that one.
I know, I thought so too. So this is the show where two friends who happen to be money experts talk about everything you're talking about.
Everything.
From current events, pop culture, and money.
We're dishing it. I think that's what kids say. I have no clue what the kids say. Well, today, Rachel, we are embracing the Christmas spirit and talking about the not-so-subtle money messages in some of our most beloved Christmas movies, because whether you noticed it or not, there's some kind of weird financial elements that are driving the plot of most Christmas movies. Is that a conspiracy theory? Does that count?
Yes. Thanks for even saying that, George. You know me so well.
I'm always trying to figure out if this is a conspiracy theory for Rachel.
What is happening?
Oh, my gosh.
And also in the holiday spirit, we're going to talk about some wild examples of celebrities being outrageously generous as well.
We love to see it.
Yep. But every episode, we have a new drink. And tell us what we're drinking today, George.
Today, we've got a vanilla chai tea White Russian. That's a lot of words.
It's a lot. It's a fancy drink.
Very fancy.
And we have it in the Christmas
holiday themed.
In the Christmas vacation moose mug.
They're beautiful.
Thank you, Lindsay.
Are they your moms?
I got your back. They're my moms. Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
We had to get in the Christmas spirit.
Precious. So at the end of the episode, we will rate the drink and break down how to make it and give you the recipe.
Love it. Let's get to it. Christmas movies with money problems. Here we go. Let's jump right in with the first one, Rachel. An undeniable classic, It's a Wonderful Life. With George Bailey. Why do all of their accents sound like that?
This is a great one, though. What a great movie.
Okay, can you do the line? Do you remember that line?
What?
The classic line from the movie.
You want the moon?
What did you want, Mary?
What did you want, Mary? You want the moon?
You want the moon? Just say the word.
Just say the word, Mary.
I'll throw the lasso around it and pull it down. What is that old-timey voice they all had?
I don't know.
Like, where are these people from? Not America. I miss that accent.
It is so true that they do talk. What is that?
Old-timey. It's a thing. I've looked it up. It's a whole thing. We've lost it. You know,
Did
now
they
we have
talk about?
slang
Did they talk like that in real life though, or just on movies?
I think that was kind of the vernacular and accent of the day.
Wish I lived then.
Yeah.
Okay, so if no one has seen It's a Wonderful Life, George.
It just came out in 1946, Rachel, very recently. It's black and white. It's square. So if you're like Gen Z, you're not watching this. All right.
It's so good, though.
Give me HD. Give me 4K. Give me 16 by 9.
So classic. It's a classic. So it's about a small town banker named George Bailey, and he's played by Jimmy Stewart. So basically, the idea is that George's bank ends up over leveraged, which means they've loaned out too much money that they have. People came and heard that the bank was in trouble, so they come to get their money out of the bank. And he's thinking about ending his life because his insurance policy is worth more if he was dead versus alive.
This is not like the fun Christmas story I remember.
It doesn't sound great, but there's a wonderful lesson in it. And so here's what's fascinating. His insurance money was worth about $15,000 back then, but today's money would be $200,000.
Wow. And we're talking about a life insurance policy, and we think it was a whole life policy, which, by the way, we never recommend. So, George, do better. Get you some term life policy. We'll talk about that. But a lot of financial themes in this movie, from greedy Mr. Potter to Mary's gold-digging mom. But let's focus in on George Bailey here.
I know. We love
George. We love a good George.
He wasn't a great banker.
No, that is for sure.
From a business perspective, his heart is one of gold, but he was not a great banker.
Well, the bank was offering subprime mortgage loans, which, if that word sounds familiar, it's because of the 2008 housing crisis.
Which is what? Essentially what? Explain what that is.
The banks were giving out super risky loans to people who definitely should not have gotten these loans, and it turned into a crazy bubble. And it turned into a lot of bankruptcy and a lot of foreclosures and a lot of sad situations. And so people who had just filed bankruptcy, super low incomes, have a long history of not paying bills, they were like, sure, here's some debt. I'm sure you'll pay us back. Recipe for disaster.
I know. And while, home ownership, it's an American dream, right? It's part of the American dream. So you want people to own a home, but a home ends up being a curse very quickly if you don't have the money to pay the mortgage and all of that. And then if the bank lends out a bunch of risky loans to people that may not be able to afford the mortgage, then It causes them to go into crisis, and not good.
So quick teaching on when the right time is to buy a house. We always recommend a 15-year fixed rate mortgage where the payment is no more than a quarter of your take-home pay. And so that will help tell you, here's how much down payment you need. Don't do these. There's all kinds of crazy, terrible mortgages out there. And on the insurance side, we recommend term life insurance that is 10 to 12 times your annual income. And term is very different from whole life. Whereas whole life tries to be this investment and an insurance, and there's a cash value, and oh my goodness, they make it so complicated on purpose, and term life is so much more affordable than whole life with better coverage.
Yep. All right. It's a Wonderful Life. Who knew? So many great money lessons, George. It's a great one, though. I love it.
It's a good one. I need to go rewatch it this year.
Oh, it's so good. Okay, next one of my faves that I still will laugh out loud. Elf.
Oh, Will Ferrell's performance, legendary. You know any quotes from the movie? You want to give us one?
Oh man, I like when the Narwhal in the North Pole. Bye, buddy. Hope you find your dad. Thanks, Mr. Narwhal.
I like when he goes and he says, "Congratulations, world's best cup of coffee." That's a good one. And then the one where he's with the Santa in the mall and he's whispering, "You stink.
You smell like beef and cheese. You don't smell like Santa.
You stink.
I think you're gonna have a good Christmas, all right?
You smell like beef and cheese. You don't smell like Santa."
I love it. I just love an adult who is a child. It just made me his whole performance in that was brilliant.
It is so good. Okay, so what can we learn from Elf?
Well, if you've never seen the movie, it's a very plausible plot where an elf man is seeking to reconnect with his biological human family. And there's some interesting financial elements driving the plot, especially with the job of Buddy's dad, Walter.
I know. He's in the book business, and he's got to get the books. Remember the nun? But the children love the books.
That was a great scene as well. So many good scenes.
So anyways, he has to get this published, and he brings in a writer even.
Starts cutting some corners.
Miles, right?
Yep.
What was his name?
I think so.
Something Miles.
Prove us wrong. It is Miles.
Yeah. And to cut corners to get this book written because the publisher needs it. And he's even making people work on Christmas Eve.
And Walter's boss is putting some pressure on him.
Yeah, for sure.
Woo.
So you got to remember, people, you know what's important in life?
That's right.
Family.
And your financial troubles can cause you to be distracted.
That's a great lesson from Elf.
And so when you're like debt free and you're working a job that you actually enjoy and you don't have a toxic boss, it's a game changer.
It is. So thank you, Elf.
Yeah, and you can stand up to the bullies when you have that autonomy and freedom, and you can make the right choices for your family. And another money lesson here, Rachel. Elf had a really small production budget. Now small in Hollywood, which is $32 million.
Oh,
considering the movie made well over $200 million.
For sure, great investment, Hollywood. Well done.
They had to shoot this movie with a very small crew, guerrilla style is what they call it in the industry. And all of the scenes were real, from Ferrell walking through traffic to the scene where he meets Santa on the street in a red tracksuit and a hat. Like, they just filmed that live because they didn't have the budget to create the scene.
Oh, so funny.
Isn't that amazing?
So good. Who knew? Well, that's a great one. Make sure to watch Elf, you guys, because, man. Okay.
I try to watch that one every year.
The next one is my all-time favorite. Christmas Vacation.
Oh, you're a Griswold fan, aren't you?
Okay, I said Elf makes me laugh out loud. Christmas Vacation it's so funny to me.
So give us the overall general plot of this movie. What's going on?
I mean, the plot of the movie, gosh, it's the Griswolds. They're having Christmas.
So this dad's stressed about work, right?
Yeah,
Working
Clark.
money.
Yeah. Stressed about work a little bit.
Banking on a bonus.
No,
Again,
that's the money teaching there. Yeah, that's not the big part of the movie, but I mean, it ends up being toward the end, a big part. But yeah, I mean,
Just
Chevy
chaos.
Chase is just
Chaos
it's just the chaos of Christmas and all the family. Oh my gosh. It's just so good. I'm like thinking of so many scenes right now. So yeah, but some good money teaching. Yes, he is stressed about work and he's depending on a bonus. So he surprises the family and announces to the family that he's going to build a pool with the holiday bonus.
Before he actually has this money.
Before he has the money. I know. We make plans before we actually have the money in place. And then turns out the boss is like a jerk. And instead of a bonus, he gets a card for Jelly of the Month Club.
Oh, yes. The famous scene.
It's so sad. It is so sad.
Well, this
so
reminds
don't
me-
count your eggs before they're hatched.
Is that the quote? I was trying to think of it. Don't
that
count.
it?
Is it are chickens involved?
Or don't count
Don't
the
count your chickens before
they're
they
hatched. Not the eggs.
Do
I guess
eggs
the
hatch
eggs
or
is
do
what
chickens?
the
We're so close. You did great. Well, here's a fun fact related to that. Last year, more than 1 in 3 consumers said they spent more than they had on Christmas, end up owing over $1,200 on average on Christmas alone. So do not do this.
Yes.
And this is one of the best reasons to cut up your credit card and avoid these buy now, pay later services out there. Because when you don't have the option to spend money you don't have, you just don't.
That's right. Because you don't have the option
So
to.
take away the temptation.
I know.
To go
So
into debt.
even if you think that something's going to be out there and it's all going to be okay because I'm going to get that, life doesn't always work out. Sometimes you get jelly in the month club.
Agreed. So
Heartbreak.
you ready for some lightning round? Can we do that?
Yeah.
Little Christmas movie lightning round.
Okay.
I'm going to name the movie and you give us a little money lesson.
Oh, okay. Okay, go.
I'm nervous. 4 Christmases.
Oh my gosh, Reese Witherspoon. This is a funny movie. Okay. So they lie at the beginning of the movie to their families because they don't want to spend Christmas with them. They want to go on vacation, and then they get their trip gets canceled. So then they have to go to all their family's Christmases, 4 Christmases,
And it's a nightmare.
So I'd say be honest with your plans, set boundaries, and be secure in them. And don't feel like you have to go and buy gifts for everyone and go to every single thing. It's exhausting. It's stressful. Sometimes you got to put a boundary up, George. That's my lesson for
I
that
love
one.
that. And for travel, too. Like, hey, we don't have the budget to go to all these places.
Yep.
We have to just choose one this year.
That's right. All right, George, you ready for yours?
All right.
Jingle All the Way.
Oh, my
I don't
gosh.
think I've ever seen it.
This is one of my all-time favorites. It's
it?
Arnold Schwarzenegger and Sinbad. You can't make this stuff up. And so it's these 2 rival dads. We got a mattress salesman, a postal worker, and they're both desperately trying to purchase a Turbo Man action figure for their sons as a last-minute Christmas Eve shopping spree. And it ends up in chaos, as you can imagine. But you remember, like, the gifts of our time that were crazy. Like Cabbage Patch dolls were big.
Furbies.
Furbies, iPods, the Tamagotchis.
Yes.
I know
oh my
you had one of
gosh,
those.
I did.
Tickle Me Elmos, Beanie
Oh,
Babies.
Tickle Me Elmo. That was like the crazy
Insert your crazy
one.
toy of the year. And so they go to the Mall of America, which I can now say I went to recently. And it was, I was like,
Is that where it's based on?
yes, it's in Minneapolis, St. Paul.
Oh my
and
gosh.
so this is one of the money lessons in there. Howard, played by Arnold, is lured into buying a doll from a con Santa, who's played by Jim Belushi, and is the leader of a large counterfeit toy-making production. He ends up spending $500 for a Spanish-speaking doll that falls apart the moment he opens it. So one of the money lessons is don't fall for the traps and scams during the holidays because you're in a rush, you're not paying attention. And number 2 is a great lesson on supply and demand and hype.
Oh my gosh.
Who knew?
Who knew? Jingle All the Way.
Supply very small, demand high, price skyrockets and creates chaos.
Enter inflation for 2022.
Yes. So, and this all could have been avoided if he had just showed up to karate instead of being so focused on work. Because the whole thing is like, well, he missed karate, so he promises his son this toy. Oh my! So show up, dads, and you can avoid the chaos. All right, you ready for this next one? One of my favorites.
Okay.
The Santa Claus. Tim Allen.
Tim Allen, such a great one. Okay, so the lesson here, I'm gonna say read the fine print. He put on the suit
Speaking my language, Rachel.
and didn't read the fine print on the card. Now, granted, it was not visible to the naked eye. He had to put it under like that microscope thing.
That's right.
But yeah, before you get into anything, any legal documents, any legal binding, anything, read the fine print.
That is so
You never
good.
know what they're going to have. So
And they
that
always
can get
make
you in
it so
trouble.
small. And it's 19 pages long. No one's really reading all of these contracts and agreements. But when it comes to like money,
Yeah, be careful.
you've got to make sure you're reading this stuff.
Winston will put stuff in front of me sometimes, like for, I don't know, investments and like, and he's like, here, just sign here, here, and here. And I'm always signing without reading. I'm like, you're taking all of our money and funneling it in the
Yes.
Bahamas, aren't you?
Winston's got some offshore accounts.
No, he doesn't. But I do. I'm like, I trust you, babe, because I'm not reading it. So
Well, it's your spouse. So you're like,
it is. There's a reason.
And Winston is like, I mean, you know the guy read through it.
Oh, for
He's
sure. I know. It
meticulous.
just makes me laugh.
Does Winston listen to these, by the way? He probably
He
doesn't.
listens. Yeah, he listens to the first 2 episodes.
Aw.
I know.
Well, can I just say, my wife Whitney listens to every single episode And she never listens to anything I do. Like, she works here. It's a whole thing. But she, like, will not miss an episode, which tells me it's because of you, Rachel.
Oh.
So she's a big fan.
I'm going to give a shout out to Whitney.
There we go.
Love you, Whitney. Okay, last one, George. You ready? Mm-hmm. How the Grinch Stole Christmas.
Oh. This one's all about greed and generosity.
Give me more, George. Tell me more.
Well, I mean, obviously, the Grinch is like just ruining Christmas for everyone. He's a curmudgeon, and he's just evil. Greed is contagious in this movie, and it all turns around, and his heart opens up when he realizes the true spirit and meaning of Christmas, which is love and generosity and loving your neighbors. And it really is a beautiful story of a life change, transformation of the heart. Rachel, what would you say?
I'm speechless.
Was that enough for you?
That was a lot, George. You've done really well this episode. You've given a lot of details.
I'm sorry. Wow.
I'll say that much.
I did my research, Rachel.
It was really good. But yes, I think the change of heart is the biggest deal. Are you talking cartoon or Jim Carrey?
That's a good question. I think I'm going Jim Carrey.
I went Jim Carrey in my head. When I said How the Grinch Stole Christmas, Jim Carrey.
Which I will say, I only recently watched that movie for the first time. Like, I don't know if I just had a weird childhood, like being Middle Eastern, but like I don't know. Like, I love the Santa Claus. That was a classic growing up, but like How the Grinch Stole Christmas with Carrie never made it onto like our family.
Really?
Christmas
My girls
list.
love the Grinch. We watch it a lot.
Well, what's your lesson from that? Is it around the same thing?
Yeah, for sure. That people matter more than gifts. Because even the Whoville, they were very big on like the tree. Like, you know, they went
What a sweet little community. Well, and giving is the most fun you can have with money. We say that a lot. That movie is one of those that really shows it.
Yes, for sure. For sure. I love it. Well, speaking of generosity, there's some fun examples.
Oh, I thought you were going to give me something. I was very excited. I was like, wow, what'd you bring me?
So I decided to give you this, George, $10,000. Just kidding.
Well, we were talking about celebs being generous, and I think this is the episode where Rachel is going to give me an unsuspecting gift or a check, like one of those big checks.
You get a car, and you get a car.
I was like, is there a Tesla out there waiting for me right now? I love it.
Oh, man. No, actual famous people are giving back. So actually, The Rock, who is a very generous man,
Big
a lot
fan.
of his stuff, yeah, he gave his Raptor, he has a customized Ford Raptor, and gave it to a fan, a personal trainer who was also a Navy vet, just gave him the truck.
Wow.
I know. So kind. Very generous.
Love that. Another one, Drake. Yes, the hip-hop artist Drake. This was an interesting one. Gave random people massive stacks of cash when filming his God's Plan music video. You remember that song? God's Plan. I'm not going to rap it, Rachel, because
I needed everyone to see the arm motion that
it
just
would
happened from
be
George.
offensive to all music lovers if I did that.
Paul Rudd in 2020 handed out cookies to voters waiting in line. That's a little bit of a...
I like this example, though, because you think, like, well, I'm not a celeb. I don't have that kind of money. But, like, anyone can go make cookies and give it to voters.
I know.
Waiting in line in Brooklyn. How nice.
And Paul Rudd did it, you know? Well done.
He seems like a sweet guy.
It is fun being generous this time of year, though. I mean, it is the season of generosity.
Like, we just tend to tip a little better, and hopefully we're nicer to everyone. Like, especially retail workers and servers.
I know.
Please be extra kind to these people. They're on
working
the brink.
hard.
They are on the brink of a mental breakdown every single day.
It's a lot. It's a
So
lot.
when in doubt, be extra generous. Be kind, not just with your time, your money, but just with your attitude.
Your smile, your face.
Yes.
smile.
Ask them how their day is going. Be a person.
I know.
Just that one gets me.
The generosity. It's a big deal during this time. And again, yeah, multiple ways to be generous. But but I feel like too, you know, in the festive spirit, it can be almost easier during this time because it is talked about a lot, which I appreciate this time of year. So the generosity piece is
And
really
then
big.
make it a habit year round.
I know.
And watch how your life changes.
In April. Be generous in April too. Yeah. Live with that open hands.
Love it.
All right. Well, it's time for our last segment, George.
Oh boy.
Guilty as charged. And this is where our producer gives us a new guilty as charged question every week. And if we've done it, we have to take a sip.
Got my drink ready.
All right.
This beautiful
Lindsay.
vanilla chai white Russian.
We are ready.
Awesome. Have you ever found money on the ground and kept it? If so,
Oh gosh.
do you remember how much? Like, what's the most you've found?
You know, if I'm just walking down the street and there's no like establishment near me, I'm picking it up.
Yeah.
I may look around, maybe say, anyone lose money? If I don't get any takers in about 3, 2, 1.
So you have a 3-second rule for found money. We just found out.
If I lose money at the zoo and I find like a wallet or I find something like a lot, I'm like, I'm gonna go take it to the front desk. You know what I mean?
If it's like an object, an item versus just some loose cash.
Yeah.
And if it's like a lot, is there a limit? You'd be like, this is over $200. Like, I'm gonna try to report this.
Okay, but what do you do if it's on like the streets? Like, again, if you're in an if you're at a movie theater, if you're somewhere that you can like take it to.
Sure.
Are people just carrying $200 to the movie
I
theater?
don't know. Yeah, what
Just thinking of an
example is this?
establishment that has a front
Well,
desk.
what if it's in your neighborhood? Is
Yeah,
that
what
different?
do you do?
I would put it in the neighborhood Facebook group.
How much?
I would say you message
If it's
me.
more than $50, I would.
Here's what I've seen done well is they say, hey, message me if you lost money and let me know the amount.
Oh, it's
And
like a pop quiz.
if it's at least in the ballpark, like I don't know how much cash I'm carrying at any given moment.
Yeah.
It's not like, oh, I remember I had $24. Like, I don't know why I turned into Kermit there. Oh, you have $24. But that's a good way to do it if it's in your neighborhood and you have a Facebook group.
Yeah, that's smart.
Or next door, one of those. But otherwise, yeah, if it's just in the street and I found $20, I think probably 20 is the most I've just found in the street.
I know. I don't think I found like I wish I.
People don't really carry $50
Now, I
bills.
do feel, I will say this. What does it say about me? I feel great. I have found a wallet and I'm like, I get to save
It's a fun
day.
challenge.
I get to save the day. I
to
get
get it back to them.
To get it back to them. It's like, it gives me something because I'm like, I know I'm about to make their day and it's me doing it.
Yes.
That's selfish.
No, I love it. It does feel good to do a
Doesn't
good
it feel
deed,
great? 'Cause I'm
which
like-
goes with this whole theme of generosity.
I know. So this is a Phoebe quote on Friends, if you're a Friends fan.
Oh.
Is there ever a selfless good
Interesting.
deed? So for me, it wasn't selfless because I'm getting something. I'm getting joy out of helping someone.
Well, that's different. What kind of
don't know.
good person award are you trying to win? Being like, well, I do get something in return. Joy. You know, now if it's like ego, because I mean, I've known people who are generous, but like it came with a little bit of a price. And like it made them
yeah.
look good and feel like there's a little bit of a gross.
Yeah.
It's like a look how generous I am. And so I don't like that type of generosity. I'll take it. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
But it doesn't feel
You know
as
what?
good as the
Mr.
selfless
Potter
kind.
found money on It's a Wonderful Life and he took it and didn't give it back.
Way to call back to the beginning of the episode.
Because I'm
Rachel.
thinking of this Christmas. I'm like, man, he took that envelope that he knew was George Bailey's. And George Bailey's like assistant guy with the crow was like, you know, oh my gosh.
Guy with the
Okay,
crow.
I got to go watch the movie now. I got to leave here and watch that movie. All right. So you guys make sure to DM us if you have any fun guilty as charged questions because we might use yours on an upcoming episode.
They're fun to get. All right, Rachel, let's talk about this drink. Who finished theirs first?
Looks like you did.
I think I'm a little closer on this one.
It was delicious though.
Vanilla chai tea white Russian. I would have never thought of this. Very creative drink.
It took a lot of hard work.
It's very, very creamy. And if you like chai tea, like all the spices and that, I think you're going to enjoy this.
Yeah, and I enjoy a chai tea.
And guess whose recipe this is, Rachel?
Who?
This is a nod to you. Tegan from Half Baked Harvest.
I love Half Baked Harvest.
We are
Yes.
big Tegan
All right,
fans.
I'm going to go 9 out of 10 just for her, for old Tegan.
Agreed. It's a lot of dairy for me at this hour, but you know, I will
You
say
could
it's worth it.
substitute it with coconut milk.
That's true.
She wrote
Coconut
that in there.
milk, oat milk, great substitutions in this drink. I love it. I want to make
job.
this at Christmas.
For sure.
So let's break it down. This recipe includes a vanilla chai syrup made with honey, chai tea, vanilla extract. Then the drink has 2 ounces of vodka, 1.5 ounces of Kahlua, 2 ounces of chai tea syrup, and then 1 to 2 ounces of heavy cream and a cinnamon stick for garnish. Love a good garnished cinnamon
I do.
stick.
It makes it look beautiful.
Very elevated. So be sure to check out the recipe in the show notes. Let us know on social if you tried it. We'd love to know what you thought of it. And if you have any drink suggestions for future episodes, both cocktails and mocktails, send us a message on Instagram and we might include it in a future episode. And the cost breakdown of this, not too shabby for how much is involved, about $3.50 a glass.
Oh,
So if
okay.
you
So
wanna-
it's a little
If
pricey.
you want to impress your friends at a holiday party, this might be the one.
This might be it.
I love it.
Cheers. All right, you guys. It's about that time. So make sure to follow us on social. Make sure to subscribe to the podcast if you haven't already.
Why haven't they subscribed, Rachel?
Subscribe now.
It's upsetting.
Subscribe. And if the spirit leads, you can leave a review.
Oh, it'll lead.
Share this episode with a friend that loves Christmas movies. Okay, as we end, what is your all-time favorite movie? If you could only watch one movie this Christmas over and over again.
A Christmas movie?
Yes, this has got to be a Christmas movie.
Die Hard.
Not a Christmas movie.
100% a Christmas movie.
George.
This is the real debate of the episode.
gosh.
Is Die Hard a Christmas movie?
It's not a Christmas movie.
I could point out 17 things that make it a Christmas movie.
Okay, here's on the same level. Is The Holiday a Christmas movie? Some people would say.
Don't go there. Don't even start with me. What's yours?
On a classic note, I do Christmas Vacation.
Okay.
I could watch that over
For
and
some
over.
reason, the Santa Claus has a lot of nostalgia for me. I love that one.
Now, The Holiday. Okay, if you go Die Hard, I can go The Holiday.
Fair.
Okay.
We'll let the listeners decide who's right
Worked
here.
that out. Woo. All right, you guys. Well, we'll see you next Thursday on Smart Money Happy Hour.